94.1 KRNA. It's Shark. We're talking with Tom Cotter on the line, doing some Penguins gigs on Thursday night. 2 shows, in fact. PenguinsComedyClub.com is the site to get your tickets. Tom, it's great to have you here, and thanks for dialing in, man. You got a busy life going on.
Well, I work an hour a night, so if I don't have, one of the other 23 hours to chat with you, then I'm kind of a loser.
You got the same disease as the rock star. You got to fill those other 23. That's a lot of temptation, Tom.
It's very daunting, but somehow I managed to do it.
So America's Got Talent runner-up in 2012. You lost to a dog. You're the highest finishing human being in that particular segment of the show. That's got to make you proud.
Well, let's be clear here. I didn't lose to a dog. It was 22 dogs.
Okay?
So that makes it sound a little better. But the truth is that, yes, I did lose to creatures that had no idea they were even in a competition. Butt sniffers, toilet drinkers took home the big prize. And what kills me, Shark, is that they can lick themselves and they won the entire $1 million. So they win on every level.
That's a double bonus, really, in the life of a dog, no doubt. So how is it hanging out with Stern and Mandel and those hot chicks? I don't know their names.
Well, I did that last year. I went back as a recurring guest. So last year I got to hang out with Heidi and Mel B. But the year before my year, I was judged by Howard Stern, Howie Mandel, and Sharon Osbourne. And they were great. Heidi is really beautiful. She's eye candy, but she is just not the sharpest tool in the shed as far as comedy is concerned. So, because there's a language barrier. I don't think it's just because she's blonde. I think it's, she's German and she doesn't get all the nuances of stand-up comedy. And that's why there's not a comic in the finals this year. There's not a comic even moving on from this round to the semifinals, which is odd. But yeah, the judges were great. Howard Stern is freakishly tall, and I make cookies in a hollow tree, so that was weird standing next to him. And Howie Mandel doesn't like to be touched. But other than that, everybody was great.
Did not know that about Howie.
Oh, yeah, he's very germophobic, and as soon as you get on the set, they pounded into your head, don't touch Howie, don't touch Howie. And I wanted to say to them, I don't want him touching me either, He should get over himself.
It reminds me of the time when many moons ago when we had MC Hammer and his assistant came out before the meet and greet and said, do not take a picture of the hammer, do not touch the hammer, do not look at the hammer. Same with Howie Mandel.
That really happened?
That really happened.
That is hysterical.
So, Tom, you're tromping across the country with these comedy gigs and these great halls and rooms, and you're going to like Penguins. I don't know if you've ever been to Cedar Rapids, but this is a great place.
I've heard. Someone told me how great it was. I'm doing the Hard Rock Casino in Sioux City right before that, the night before on Wednesday. And then I come to Penguins, and I'm looking forward to it. I love Iowa. I'm a little guy, so when you're my height, you either wrestle or you ride horses. And I don't ride horses, so I wrestled in high school and college, and Iowa is the mecca of wrestling. So I always love coming there.
Some of the race car drivers are tiny too. Look at Danica, small.
Yes, she is tiny. She's petite. And I heard she's a handful. I had a photo shoot once with a guy in Las Vegas for the AGP Live thing, and I said, who was the most difficult person you've ever photographed? Because he photographs a lot of celebs, and he said Danica by far. So I thought that was very humorous.
Tom, let's get to the meat of the interview now, and that is the word Cotter. That is my mother's maiden name. I am a Cotter, and you're like an East Coast Rhode Island Cotter. You don't see a lot of Cotters around. We have that in common, Tom.
You are my brother from another mother, but kind of genetically linked.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, we're Irish. Are you Irish?
Oh, hell yeah. County Cork, baby.
That's us, buddy. County Cork. There is a little town called Cotter, and Cotter in Gaelic means one who lived in a cottage, which means someone not affluent. And
yeah.
It's great to see other Cotters. I'm here in Kansas City right now. I just did the Improv here in Kansas City for the last 5 days, and I had a couple people come up to me who were Cotters here, too. So they come out of the woodwork like cockroaches when you're on the road and they come up and say hello to you.
You have to fend off all the Cotters.
Yeah. Well, my line is I'm half Irish, half Scottish, which means I like to get really drunk and wear a skirt. But it also means that I've never had a tan in my life. Are you like me? Do you get burned by the moon on cloudy nights, which is a problem?
No, but I have a giant Cotter head. It's about an 8.5.
Yeah, and the other Irish thing is I'm deficient in certain areas, but I have a huge liver, which is good.
Yeah, You got to have a few stouts when you're on the road.
That's right. But the downside of that is that I could make love to a Cheerio and not break it. But that's all right. I'm okay with it.
Tom, what is your opinion on reality shows in general? I know one of them there, AGT, has really put you into the spotlight, but do you think they wouldn't be on the air if they weren't getting ratings, obviously, but what's the future of these things? They're everywhere, man.
They are everywhere. That was my third reality show just on NBC. I did America's Got Talent, then I did Last Comic Standing, and I had a very small part on Dateline to Catch a Predator that I want to talk about. But reality is here to stay, unfortunately, and I'll tell you why. Because the year I did Last Comic Standing was the last year of Friends. And the year of Last Comic Standing, the winner got a $50,000 development deal with NBC. That was the grand prize. And they paid us all the absolute minimum they could with the SAG and AFTRA thing. And that same season was the last season of Friends, where each cast member was making $1 million per episode. And the ratings weren't that dissimilar. So if you're NBC and you have to pay $6 million per episode just to pay your talent on one show, and on the other show, you can do 13 shows, and at the end, your big expense is a $50,000 development deal. What are you going to do? So clearly, it's an economic thing, and reality is just a lot cheaper to do, and America seems to gravitate towards it, unfortunately. And I thought rap was going to go away. I thought that was a fad. I was wrong there, and I think reality is here to stay as well.
Tom Cotter with us, a couple of shows on Thursday night at Penguins. We're going to give you guys some free tickets in just a sec. Tom, you've been doing some voiceovers too, Pepsi, McDonald's, Chevy. It's kind of that's my industry too, and that's fun. You know, I'm on a hold on a local motorcycle dealership here in town. Thanks for calling. We'll be right back with you. But you're doing big national spots, man.
Well, I was, that back in the day, that was, I had a great face for radio, as they say, and I did a lot of commercial work, but 90% of it was voiceover. I did a few on-camera things, but I was in New York, and I've been in New York for 20 years, and that's where Madison Avenue is, so there was a lot more opportunity, a lot more auditions for stuff, and I was with ICM at the time, and they were great. So, yeah, that buttered my bread for a long time, those voiceover and some on-camera, but mostly voiceover gigs.
Yeah, the bassist for Filter does the Hardee's commercials. And that's how he makes his money. He doesn't make any money with Filter anymore, so he's got to do that.
Well, what I found out was that Kansas City and Iowa are ideal for voiceover because they say you guys don't have an accent. This part of the country is accent-free. Whereas I'm from Rhode Island, New England, and there's a thick accent there. And then I live in New York now, and there's, of course, an accent there. And down south, of course, there's an accent. And there are accents everywhere in this country except for some reason in this region. So they really want to do a lot of commercials because they want it to appeal to everybody. They want accent-free commercials. So I guess they're drawing from this area, and there's an upside for you.
There you go. And with Rhode Island, you got to be excited about Dumb and Dumber, too.
I am excited. I just hung out with Peter Farrelly at the Nantucket Comedy Festival this summer, and he said, off the record, but we could talk about it now, that he's really proud of this one. This is one of his best movies, and my wife and I, our first date was going to see the original Dumb and Dumber. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I can't wait.
The legendary comedian with a great last name, Tom Cotter. My mom is going to be so proud. I'm going to send her this interview.
Do that and tell her I said hi.
Thanks, Tom, and have a great gig. We'll see you Thursday night.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.